Where's the pressure?
Under pressure. Looking down on me.
All right, let's get into the college football segment of our show, presented by Manscaped. Let's get right into it. We're going to go into college football factor caps.
Let's get it, brother.
2 more weeks? 2 more weeks of college
I think
football?
so. Gio, you can answer that?
Yeah, about 2 more weeks.
All right, ready? Factor cap. TCU will win the national championship this year.
Cap.
I'd say cap. Like, I love what TCU is doing. Obviously, huge wins in the Big 12 with some tough teams in there. There were, like, in the beginning of the season, there were, like, 4 or 5 teams ranked. When you talk about, like, Oklahoma, Baylor, Texas, they've killed all of them. And now they have Baylor coming up, and I don't think they should struggle with them. But I think where they're going to struggle, they should make the playoffs. They're going to get robbed from the playoffs if they don't. They should make it. They're ranked 4 right now. Where I think it's tough is when you go into the playoffs and then you face a team like Ohio State or like Georgia.
Yeah.
Because those teams have been there before. A problem with a program like TCU making it, who isn't as renowned as these other programs, is you can get there, but when you get there, that experience counts, not only for the players but for the coaches. And that coaching staff at TCU has been there for a while, but they haven't been in that situation. So I just can't see them rattling off wins in the college football playoffs because we haven't seen that be done before. When you think about the teams who have won in the college football playoffs, it's always the same teams. It's Bama, it's Clemson, it's Georgia. LSU, who's been historically great, so I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I say cap just because I just don't – to say that they're going to win the national title because of them being undefeated and being the 4th best team in the country, you're going to face a Georgia and Ohio State like you just said, and I just – again, I trust the teams that have been there before. I trust those powerhouses.
I want to say fact because I like this TCU team. I like the story of someone from the Big 12 winning, changing up the landscape. But it's going to be cap because just the teams in the playoffs. It's the top 4, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. They're all undefeated. I'm going to take Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan over them. It's just clear cut. And it's also all of these teams has been suspect, and they've seen their close calls, like almost losing. They almost lost here. TCU just barely beat Texas. Again, though, like when it comes down to it of am I going to take a suspect Ohio State team or a suspect TCU team or a suspect Michigan, Georgia, I'm going to take those top 3 teams over TCU.
So that's that leads me into my next one, actually, very nicely. Factor cap, 1 of the 4 undefeated teams will lose this week. Those teams are all Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. What do you think?
It wouldn't shock me if if TCU lost to Baylor at Baylor.
It wouldn't either, but if they would have lost, it probably would have been last week against Texas.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and that was a tough matchup.
Also, like, Iowa State is a prime team that I feel like always upsets late.
Yes, they do.
And they play them next week.
Yeah, as far as this week goes, I don't want to say yeah. There's a couple like good ranked matchups in there. Michigan is playing Illinois, who's 21. I don't think that happens. Michigan is just so much better. Georgia's playing Kentucky. Kentucky's 24. Still don't think that can happen. Obviously, Kentucky's they have one of the best rosters they've had in a while. Still don't think that's going to happen. Ohio State, no shot. Maryland. And did I rattle them all off? Am I missing one?
I wish this question was.
TCU Baylor.
I wish this question was asked last week or next week because Michigan and Ohio State play, and one of those teams are gonna lose.
All right, we'll talk about it next week then. Maybe.
Yeah, we try to bring it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. It's just I'm gonna say cap of them. They're all gonna still win out this week. I think next week is the week that one of those big four lose. This week they're just playing easier teams. They shouldn't lose. It could happen. It's college football. Anything could happen. Of the teams, maybe TCU or maybe Michigan. It has to be one of those 2 teams.
Bro,
Georgia and Ohio State are not going to lose.
The spreads, just to see how big of favorites these teams are, 18.5, 27.5. One was like 22.5.
Scary.
So it's like it's not like, but
not even close.
In college football, that does happen, right?
Yeah.
Like even when LSU beat Bama last week, it's still
Upsets happen every year.
upsets happen. So it happens. But I don't think it'll happen this week.
I wanted to also talk about the sponsor today, which is Manscaped.
Manscaped, yes. As we mentioned, the segment is brought to you by Manscaped.com.
As it is.
The premium brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. If you look across the room, all of us got a little bit of a beard going. Gio, to my left, probably needs to groom the most out of us right now.
Sharp jawline just stung me.
Mine's just like more of a stubble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't grow a full one, but I do use.
But you try.
But I do use the Manscaped.
See, I don't even try. But you use the Manscaped.
I use the
What do you
Manscaped
do?
4.0
Gotcha.
because of it doesn't cut me. You have the skin safe
The
technology,
safety,
all
bro.
those
The
things.
safety,
But
it's
I
like
like
the safety there. is
Yeah,
great.
exactly. So it's very similar. But I do like using the 4.0. But when it comes to man maintenance, there's a lot to tackle. Pun intended there. Chest, back, legs, arms, pits, and even your butt. But it is time to shape up. But make sure you're using the right tools. For quality and convenience, you need the Performance Package 4.0 grooming kit from Manscaped. This all-in-one tool can be used in wet and dry conditions to get into every single nook and cranny. Best of all, you can be sure that no damage will be done when you're shaving back there or down there. And if you're doing it blindly. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right.
Dual threat technology. I can do it in wet, I can do it in dry.
Interesting.
So, doing it blindly
incredible.
is crucial. But manage your body hair and odors for BGE. And for all of you watching at home, that's Big Groomed Energy. Get 20% off plus free shipping plus 2 free gifts at Manscaped when you visit manscaped.com/gameday.
I like that.
Beautiful. Well, we have one more fact.
Oh, we do?
Uh-huh.
Lovely.
We do.
Lovely.
Let's talk about the mighty Alabama for a second. Factor cap, Alabama will finish with 3 losses.
No. and it's so easy just by looking at their schedule. Yes, they've lost, but they've lost to good teams. Let me pull up their schedule real quick, and you guys can jump in.
I'll say cap. I'll say cap.
Austin, PA. I don't know how to pronounce it.
PD?
Never heard of them.
Austin Pay. If that's a Texas school, I might give them a benefit of the doubt because Austin. But and then there's the last matchup they have is Auburn. So I guess Auburn could get them.
I'm gonna say
Look at who Bama has lost to. LSU. LSU is 10.
Is it in Bama or is it in Auburn?
Both those last
Bama.
2 games are in Bama.
Yeah.
Look who Alabama has lost to. They lost to
Iron Bowl,
to
baby.
LSU. Okay, in LSU, and the other team they lost to was Tennessee. Right, in Tennessee, they haven't lost at home yet. Both of these last 2 games are at home. And not to mention the 2 games they lost were against great schools, and these are not great.
I'm going to go fact. They're going to end up with 3 losses because they're going to lose to Auburn because this Alabama team, they're going to feel like this team doesn't feel like the Alabama team of Nick Saban's past, of just this dominant force that no one could stop.
Yeah, Nick
They're
Saban's
gonna
washed.
run through everybody. It's not that Nick Saban's washed. It's not that, and it's crazy to say that this Alabama team's bad when they're 8-2. It's tough to say that. They're still a very good team, but
Yes.
you almost lose to Texas. They beat Texas by 1, and that was without Quinn Ewers. So imagine if he didn't get hurt in that game.
Yeah.
Then they almost lost to Texas A&M. It was 24-20.
A&M.
A&M.
But they won.
And that Auburn game, the Iron Bowl, anything can happen. We've seen it and time again in the past. This Auburn team is not as good as they used to have been when they've played in these games, when Auburn has beaten them. But I think the pressure overall is going to get to Alabama. The pressure of
Where's the pressure?
if they
They have
think
2
about it.
losses. Where's
But
the
if
pressure?
but if
They're not making the playoffs.
They could, though. They could. If they win out, the college football, the voters, they love Alabama.
Yeah, but you need
Alabama
other
always
losses.
finds a way, even when they don't deserve it, when other teams do deserve it, to find a way into the playoffs.
2-loss team isn't making it.
Yeah,
You never
need,
know.
You need those other
Yeah,
teams.
I know.
You need those other teams.
To
So that
lose.
pressure is going to come, though. The pressure is going to
Okay.
collapse on them. And Auburn, it's going to be a very tight game. I could see it like a Tennessee type game where Auburn wins by 3.
Okay.
I could see
Iron
it.
Bowl, baby. Do you think TCU's going to win it all? Let us know below. Remember to like, subscribe, and for all your grooming needs, head over to manscaped.com/gameday.